Guys, I have some exciting news for you. You have today's DMR quiz, and you have next Friday's DMR quiz, and then you're done. There's no more DMRs. There's not going to be DMR the last week of school. So today and then next week's, and you finished all your third grade DMRs. So let's finish strong. Let's hit it hard. Make sure we're getting good grades on it so we can help our grade out, show our success, grow our brains, get our knowledge up there, and stay fresh on skills that you'll need in fourth grade. Okay? Lots of reasons to do your DMR well. All right, here we go. Last chance to ask questions before your quiz today. So please stop me. Please ask me what you need to know. What is it about this time of day when I yawn? Yes, Levin.
I have a question about reading log. Was this week's reading log a quiz? I mean, like a test. Was this week's reading log graded?
Every week's reading log is graded.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hopefully I have an A+ so I can get Instagram.
Love it. All right. Use this graph to answer the question below. Here's our graph. We see is about students' favorite dogs. We see we are counting by 2 dogs for each picture. How many students voted in the survey? That means I got to count all the data. Beagle has 2, 4, 6 votes. I'm going to change colors so we can see it a little bit better. Collie has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 votes. Shepherd has 2, 4 and a half of a dog, which is equal to 1 dog. Poodle has 2 votes. Dalmatian has 4 votes. So now we got to add all these numbers together. 6 plus 10 is equal to 16. 5 plus 2 plus 4 is equal to 11. 11 plus 16 is equal to 27. 27 students voted in this survey altogether. Yes, Leah.
So you can already cross out 1, and if you count up the first 2, that equals 16. So you know it's not 10 and 15.
You're right. Process of elimination. Good test taking strategies. All right. Number 2, choose all that are correct. And all means 2 in this case. Which of these shapes are rectangles? F is a very clearly visible rectangle. And also please remember that squares are rectangle. D is a square. Squares are rectangles because rectangles require 2 sets of parallel sides. It also requires 4 right angles, which this has, and our square was drawn like this. There's the 2 sets of parallel sides. There's the right angle, or there's the other set of parallel sides, and here's the right angles. Okay, so squares are rectangles. Rectangles don't have to be squares. D and F. Grades that you don't want on your DMR. All right, Meg walked a dog named Shep for 12 minutes. Then she walks Sparky. Finally, she walks Brownie for 18 minutes. Altogether, she spends 52 minutes walking the dogs. How much time did Meg walk Sparky? Well, our problem didn't tell us how much time she walked Sparky, so we've got to figure out what we know. We know Shep was 12 minutes. We know Brownie was 18 minutes. We know that we've got to add in Sparky, which is an S, and all together, that is going to give us 52 minutes. So the question is, what does Sparky equal? Okay, let's figure out what we do know. 12 plus 18 is equal to 30. 30 plus Sparky is equal to 52. So we've got to figure out what is here. So let's fact family it up. 52 subtract 30. 2 subtract 0 is 2, not 1. 5 tens subtract 3 tens is 2 tens. So the correct answer is 22 minutes. Sparky got to go on a 22-minute walk. Yes, Leah.
So also, if you can look at it right, you will know it's not 56 because that's over 52, and you will know it's not 72 because that is also, and you'll know it's not 48 because 40 plus 20 more is 60, so you know that's not it.
Leah, on the test taking strategy run today, yes, our total is 52, so it obviously can't be 56 and 72 because that's way more than we need. 48, when we add it to these, would be way more than we need. Yes, Levin.
Why have we been talking about dogs lately?
Because I love dogs. I don't know. Miss Thaxton makes these. Miss Thaxton also loves dogs, though, so I'm going to guess that's why.
Because in total of my whole entire life, I've had 10 dogs.
That's a lot of dogs.
And
Yes,
4
William.
died.
Brownie's making me hungry.
Hold on. I don't know why. William, I think it's because of the way you pause. I always think you're done talking, and then you're not. I'm sorry. And so what? 10 dogs.
Brownie's
what?
making me hungry.
Well, boo you. Yes, Levin.
And 4 are alive.
4 of them are currently alive, and you've had 10 total. Gotcha. I'm sorry for your loss. All right, there we go. All right, next up, read the scale to determine the weight of the objects. We are in pounds. We start at 0, we go past 1, past 2, and we're at 3. I don't even know what that object is. Is it carrots? I think it's carrots. This object is 3 pounds. Yes, Leah.
You would know it's not 45 pounds because there's not 45 on there, and also you would know it's not the ounces because that says pounds, and you'll know it's not 30 because I don't think there's a 30 on there.
There is not. You're correct. It only goes up to 11. Well done. All right, next up, find the value of the variable. Blank plus 5 equals 12. Okay, so we are figuring out what is the x plus 5 equals 12. I know that I can create fact families, so I can also set this up as 12 minus 5 equals x. 12 minus 5 equals 7, so x is 7. I can also do it this way. X plus 5 equals 12. Okay, I've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many do I have to get up to 12? Well, let's count. I'm at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I added 7 more. And finally, how long is this object in inches? We go from 0 to 1. We're not at 2, so 2 inches goes away. Now we're going to count our fourths. 1/4, 2/4. 2/4 is the same as 1/2, so 1 inch and 1/2 inch. Okay, questions on that? All right. Josh, you're looking mad weird right now, bub. Okay, let's take a look at our test that you have today. I've shared with you that you were going to be doing a word problem test. We've been practicing different types of word problems all week. Time to put your knowledge to it, okay? Go ahead and hop to your activities. My goodness. Scroll on down. Rip Van Winkle, choose the operation real world problems. Notice in the title, it says choose the operation. That means some of these are addition, some are subtraction, some are multiplication, some are division, okay? You are choosing which operation makes sense. Click on that add response. Yes, Tim.
I've never heard of Rip Van Winkle.
You have or you haven't?
I haven't.
Oh, well, good. We're going to read his story. Rip Van Winkle is an old man who slept for 100 years and woke up and the world was different. That's the premise. He took a 100-year nap. All right. Here is what you are going to accomplish today.
Rip Van Winkle choosing an operation. Rip's dog is not happy with Rip. He slept for 20 years, leaving him all alone. He needs help calculating all the changes made to the village during his 2-decade doze. Help Rip Van Winkle familiarize himself. Today, you will be solving problems related to the story using addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. The key is that you will have to read the question and determine which different strategy you will use to best answer the question.
And Braden said, 20-year nap. All right, that sounds great. Okay. If you have not heard the story of Rip Van Winkle, I am going to now read it to you. Please hop to slide 2. This is the story that you will be using math to solve problems with today. Rip Van Winkle, as told by Rip's dog. Rip Van Winkle and I used to hang out together all day long. Every morning, Rip would grab a crust of bread and we'd go into town. He would tell stories to village children and their parents. I'd romp with the village dogs. We'd help neighbors who needed a hand. Sometimes we'd go into the mountains and hunt squirrels. It was those mountains that led to the trouble. Woof! What a lot of trouble. We were dozing in the sun when someone called out, "Rip Van Winkle, I need your help." Along came a strange little gentleman with knee breeches and a feather in his cap. He was carrying a huge barrel of strong tea. I wasn't crazy about that man, but Rip offered to help carry the barrel up the mountain. I heard thunder in the distance. I wanted to go home. But Rip and the strange little gentleman continued to climb. In a clearing, we saw a dozen strange men playing ninepins, which is a game like bowling. Not one of them smiled. I didn't think it was a good sign. They dipped their cups into the strong tea, and so did Rip. I didn't touch the stuff. It smelled funny to me, it did. Before you knew it, Rip fell asleep and I dozed off too. When I woke up, it was almost dark and I couldn't wake Rip. When I ran to the village for help, nobody paid any attention to me. I went back up the mountain and couldn't find the spot where I'd left Rip. I never did find it. Years and years passed. Then one day into town came a tattered, dazed old man with a gray beard a foot or two long. He kept staring at everyone and asking about people who no longer lived in the village. I growled at him when he came to the deserted farm where Rip used to live. The man asked about Rip Van Winkle, and the villagers said he was long gone. This confused the stranger even more. As it turned out, the old man was Rip Van Winkle himself. I didn't recognize him because he'd been asleep for 20 long years. He had a completely different smell about him. Well, Rip told his story about going into the mountains to whoever would listen. I growled in agreement when he told about the strange little man and the tea. Soon, I get used to Rip's company. We would spend our afternoons dozing in the sun. Whenever we heard thunder, I'd prick my ears up and Rip would sit up straight. It always reminded us of that day on the mountain and the sound of the ninepins. All right, 20-year nap. There you go. Today, your task is to solve each of these 6 problems that are on slides 3 through 8. On each problem, you are going to decide if you are adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. Okay? You will read the problem or listen to the problem. You will use the information from the story to answer the questions. Okay? On each slide, there are 2 lines. Line 1, line 2. Line 1 is asking you to tell me if it is addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. Line 2 is asking you to tell me your final answer with a label. Okay? You have a workspace. I will be sending work back that does not show work. If you turn in this assignment with no work on it, you are going to get it back and your grade will be a 0% until you do it correctly. Did you hear me say that? You must show your work. I don't care what strategy you use. Draw pictures, write the equation, make a fact family. I don't care, but you have to show work of some kind. Okay? Any questions on those expectations? Okay. Tell me the operation, solve the problem. Next slide. Tell me the operation, solve the problem. Next slide. Tell me the operation, solve the problem. Next slide. Tell me the operation, solve the problem. Next slide. Tell me the operation, solve the problem. Next slide. Tell me the operation, solve the problem, and you're done. Okay? All right, friends, this is a quiz. I will be remaining on Zoom to help you with any instructions or directions. I will not be helping with any solving of problems. This is a test. The solving of problems is up to you, okay?